call this meeting of the Bellingham City Council to order. I'm Terry Borneman. I'm filling in for Kathy Lehman today as chair. She is unable to be here. The first item before us today is a special meeting. We have two closed record hearings. And I believe the first one is a closed record hearing to consider a petition to vacate an alley west of 15th Street between Taylor and Douglas Avenue. Alan, you leading this?
I am.
All right.
Alan Mariner, Deputy City Attorney. As Councilman Borneman has said, we're going to have two closed record hearings, one right after the other. I think they'll go very quickly. The first is to consider a petition from the Bellingham School District to vacate an unnamed alleyway, which is shown here, just north of the Lowell Elementary School. So that hatch marked area is the area to be vacated. Maybe a better illustration of that is showing the proposed area, and you can see it in relationship to the existing Lowell Elementary School. The right-of-way, the alley vacation is necessary to enable the school district to construct a gymnasium, cafeteria, and additional classrooms north of the existing school building. Based on a public hearing on October 14th, the hearing examiner found that the city and state criteria for approving the vacation were met and recommended approval of the vacation. Her findings of fact, conclusions of law, and recommendation are found on pages 18 through 27 of your packet. The complete record created before the hearing examiner was available for your review in council office. So what's in your packet today is just a very small portion of the entire record. And you should base your decision this afternoon on that record and the hearing examiner's report, which is in your packet. If you approve the petition, you must determine compensation for the vacated alleyway. The appraised value of this property was, I was surprised by the amount, but I read the appraisal. It was an appraisal done by an appraiser hired by the city, was $1,000. And that's essentially because it's surrounded by school district property and has no use to anyone other than the school district. However, the staff is recommending that the compensation be waived based on the public purpose of the proposed improvements to the property. So at the conclusion of the hearing, council must vote to adopt, modify, or reject the hearing examiner's recommendation. If you vote to adopt her recommendation and approve the right-of-way vacation, you should also decide the issue of compensation. And staff is here to answer any questions you have regarding that. You should also, if you vote to approve the vacation, you should also consider a motion this afternoon to bring forward the ordinance that is on pages 28 through 30 of your packet, to bring it forward this evening for a first and second reading. So then this evening, you would report out the results of this hearing, and if you approve the vacation, you'd also vote first and second on the vacation ordinance. I'm here to answer any questions. Kurt Nabafeld is. Ron Cohen from the school district is also here. And with that, I'll turn it back to Councilman Borneman.
Okay. Council, any questions? Michael?
I'm very much in favor of this, having, I think, 10 years ago, when my daughter was going to Lowell, talking about finally developing that lot. But I have some more technical questions. It doesn't matter so much because the value doesn't matter, but it was supposed to be 1/2 of the value. So if we appraised it and we wanted money, it'd be $500, not $1,000. I'm wondering why half of the value is what's required under the statute.
Well, actually, under state law, for some right-of-ways, newly dedicated right-of-ways, and there's a time limit in the state statutes. The most you can request is half compensation, but longer duration right-of-ways that the city has held the dedications for, I want to say it's 15 or 20 years, you can actually seek full compensation.
Also, something very interesting struck me under our adopted procedures, bullet point 9 on page 26. The proposed or possible use of the vacated right-of-way is not relevant to city action. That apparently is based on a court opinion. So then I'm kind of confused in finding number 3, which basically talks all about the public benefit of the proposed or possible use of the vacated right-of-way, and yet earlier we just said the proposed or possible use is not relevant. Can you untie that for me? Is it that the proposed use is relevant only in terms of determining the consideration the city might be getting, but not relevant in terms of determining whether or not vacation is appropriate?
Oh, that's the distinction that I would make. I'm not super familiar with these policies, city policies, but there is a distinction between whether you're going to approve the vacation or not and what compensation you're going to require. And I would say under state law, the council has discretion on what the maximum compensation is fixed by state law, and we talked about 50% or 100%, but council has the discretion to determine within those limits what compensation, if any, is required.
So if I understand this, our decision to vacate is based upon whether or not it's needed at all by us, the city.
Correct.
But then the value is determined based on a totally separate decision, is what would it be used for if we didn't? And that
is one of the
and that's
factors
where the
that you
public
can take
benefit
into
might come in.
consideration.
Okay, thanks for educating me on that.
Jack?
Move to adopt the hearing examiner's findings of facts, conclusions, and recommendations.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second before us. Any other comments? All those in favor, answer aye. Aye. Okay, motion's approved 6-0 with Kathy Lehman excused. Next, then, Jack?
Move to determine the compensation at a value of 0.
Wait, and a second.
And you're determining that because of the public
Because of the
value.
public benefit.
Correct. Okay, just so we got that in the record, that we're just not, yeah. Okay, any other comments? All those in favor of the motion, answer aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved, 6-0. Kathy Lehman, excused. Jack?
And then move to recommend that we pass the ordinance as presented.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion before us. Any comments? All those in favor, answer aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes 6-0. Kathy Lehman excused. Okay, so
Thank you.
we're on to our next one, I
Okay,
think.
thank you. Okay. Again, Alan Mariner, Deputy City Attorney. We're going to do this second closed record hearing, and this one is to consider, it's actually two petitions to vacate portions of an unnamed alleyway, right-of-way, located between Samish Way and 37th Street. And you can see that. What I want to point out is that the map on page 47 of your packet shows only one of the areas to be vacated. It was in error. Here you can see segment 1 and segment 2. So there are two different areas for a total combined square footage of 4,500 square feet. And this map is in the record that was created before the hearing examiner. The right-of-way vacation is necessary to facilitate the redevelopment of this portion of the Samish Way Urban Village, including a new Walgreens pharmacy, which is gone through the land use approval process, and we've issued permits for it. Again, this was considered by the hearing examiner also. She had hearings on both this and the other street vacation on October 14th. and she found that the state and local requirements were met and recommended approval of the vacation that you see here. Her findings of fact, conclusions of law are included in your packet on pages 34 through 43, and the complete record was provided to you and is in the council office for your review. And again, just like the previous closed record hearing, your decision should be based on that record and the hearing examiner's report, which is in your packet. And if you approve the vacation, you must determine, again, just like the last hearing, the compensation to be provided for the right-of-way vacation. And staff is recommending compensation of a dedication of the same or larger square footage of right-of-way along 37th Street. That's illustrated by this aerial photograph. You can see the segment one and segment 2 of the right-of-way to be vacated in the alley, and then the hatch marks are the equivalent. I think it's an additional square foot, so I think it's 4,501 square feet of right-of-way dedicated on 37th Avenue, and that is the existing right-of-way along that portion of 37th is 35 feet, and we need, we're hoping to get 60 feet of width. So the idea is that dedication would be the compensation for the vacation. So then you must vote on whether you're going to approve the vacation. If you decide to approve it, you've got to decide compensation. Staff has a recommendation to accept a dedication, equivalent dedication on 37th Avenue. And if you vote to approve the vacation, we'd ask that you consider also a motion to bring forward the ordinance in your packet approving the vacation. Jackie Lynch and I are here to answer any questions that you have specifically about the vacation. I'd say Kurt Nabafeld is also here, and with that, I'll turn it over to Councilman Borneman.
Michael?
Could you please do me a favor, somebody, and put up the Sandwich Way Urban Village circulation plan, which looks like this, for that block. I'm just trying to figure out, there's a pedestrian, it's that little section down there in the corner. Maybe you could zoom in on it, Alan. It might be easier. Yeah, that portion right there. I couldn't tell from the maps. I think I can understand now how all this relates to it. The colors there aren't great on. So there's that cross section there. That's a pedestrian right-of-way. I'm wondering what the status of that would be and if it's at all affected by either the vacation or the dedication. And also with regard to 37th, I was wondering what expectations were there in the circulation plan. Is that what Alan referred to as the future hope for 60-foot right-of-way?
You know, the other person that's here that can talk about the right-of-way is Brent Baldwin from Public Works. But the pedestrian walkway, east-west walkway, was not part of the record created before the hearing examiner. We can talk about it. It's part of, you can give notice to things that are in our adopted neighborhood plans, and this is one of those things. That pedestrian walkway is a requirement of the design review permit that's been issued for the Walgreens pharmacy. So we obtained that pedestrian walkway through other means, and that wasn't necessary to require that as compensation for the vacation. And if you need additional information about why we need additional dedication along 37th, I would ask that we bring Brent Baldwin up here.
Well, really, this all goes to, on page 42, conclusion number 3, that the affected alley is not needed for circulation. And that made me immediately turn to this, because there was nowhere in their discussion in any detail in my record about whether or not that pedestrian thing was discussed, whether or not the hope for width at 37th was discussed. I'm assuming they all were, but I don't have any evidence of how that was dealt with in the proceedings.
Well, I would just note that what we have displayed there shows that that alleyway it's anticipated under the Samish Way Urban Village that alleyway will be vacated. In fact, other portions of it have already been, as shown on the previous exhibit.
Okay, I think I have what I need. I just want to make sure, I want to be assured that not only was it anticipated, that it was anticipated also in this vacation, and there's no...
Well, I would ask, maybe Jackie could comment on that.
Here's the simple answer.
Yes.
Good, we like that.
This is an excerpt from the design review permit for the Walgreens that will be built immediately south of that pedestrian right-of-way, and there's a long discussion here about that pedestrian connection. Access from Samish Way to 37th needs to be active. It describes a great deal about what needs to be done, and it needs to be separated from vehicular access. And then the reason it wasn't specifically addressed in the staff report was that that pedestrian access is already shown on the site plan for Walgreens, and I am almost literally in the midst of reviewing their building permit, and you can see that that pedestrian access way is shown along this north side of the proposed Walgreens, going all the way to 37th, and it meets all the requirements of the Samish Way Urban Village. It's 5 feet wide. It has a nice little pedestrian crossing here. And there's some pretty good vegetation access in this end. Unfortunately, we've got some parking right next to it here, but there will be physical access as a requirement of the Walgreens full-time available once it gets constructed. And that's a condition of their design review permit. The only way for them to get around that would be to get a new design review permit.
Thank you.
Okay, Jack?
Move to adopt the hearing examiner's findings of facts, conclusions, and recommendations.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and second before us. Any comments? All those in favor, answer aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes 6-0. Kathy Lehman excused. Jack?
Move to state that upon dedication to the city of additional right-of-way along the west side of 37th Street of an equal or greater square footage than the right-of-way to be vacated shall be deemed as compensation in lieu for this vacation.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion second before us. Any other comments? All those in favor, answer aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes 6-0 with Kathy Lehman excused. And
One more.
we got one more. Yes, Jack?
Move to recommend to the council this evening passage of the first and second reading of the ordinance.
Second.
Have a motion and second before us. Any comments? All those in favor, answer aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes 6-0. Kathy Lehman excused.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, and we are right on